Hey everybody, Matt Clark here. So welcome to the Module 2 coaching call. So congratulations on making it through both Modules 1 and 2. So we're going to be talking all about Module 2. So Module 2 is all about picking a product to sell, which you saw the entire process of that we have developed, that we know has worked for tons and tons of other people. Extremely effective. So hopefully by now you've gone through all of Module 2. If not, if you jumped on this coaching call but you're a few videos behind, don't worry about it. It's going to be there. We're going to be here and to make sure that you build this business. So we've got a few updates to talk about, but we're going to be answering questions about Module 2. We've had some submitted beforehand. We'll be taking some live questions. And we've got a special guest. It's Matson Magleby, who actually joined exact same program you're in, Amazing Selling Machine, about a year ago. He joined in March of last year, a little bit over a year ago. And he's right now at $130,000 every single month with this business. That's the power of this business. He's going to have share a little bit about how he did it, a little bit about his story, and so you can really copy what he's done to be successful. It'll be really interesting. I'm excited to hear it. I haven't heard that much about his story before. I believe we may have tried to bring him on a call one time, but I think the internet was kind of choppy. So either way, it's going to be a great time. So yeah, if you have questions for him, when we get to, we'll bring him on probably, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. When we get to him, feel free to start asking questions. You can direct them directly at him, and we will ask him live here. So just a few important updates. First update is about the live event. So we are getting that entire registration process in order. As you all know, we had some tentative dates before, but the final dates right now are July 18th, 19th, and 20th. Let me double check with my calendar. But yeah, July 18th, 19th, and 20th. Yep, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So July 18th through 20th in Las Vegas. It's going to be at the Venetian Hotel. So the reason we chose those dates in that hotel is because trying to fit this number of people in one venue at one time is a heck of a thing. We have the most amazing event organizer on the planet. She's done all the other events for us, and you will have an amazing time at the event. You'll be making connections with other people doing extremely well with this business. You'll be getting advanced strategies and tips that you can really use no matter where you're at in this business. So if you're not quite to the point of really cranking up your sales by the time you get to the live event, doesn't matter. Join us anyways, and you will love the experience. We're going to have things no matter where you're at with this business. So that registration is going to be open, looks like tomorrow. So you'll get an email about it. When you log into Amazing Selling Machine, you'll see a message at the top. So for Amazing Selling Machine students that just joined us in April, you will get access to register first before anybody else. So you're just going to pay your little registration fee, which is $50, just to let us know that you're going to be there, because it's very costly to put on these events. You'll get that money back as soon as you get to the live event. But yeah, so you'll register. Make sure you do that as soon as you possibly can to guarantee your spot at the event. But remember, if you absolutely cannot make it, which we hopefully you do. I mean, we've run the numbers. I mean, people do extremely well that make it out to the live event. But worst case, you get live streaming and you get recordings. So it looks like that registration is going to be live tomorrow. The only last thing we were waiting on, because the hotel's all booked, all that stuff is good to go, is to get you your discounted room at the Venetian. Because these Las Vegas hotels are massive, really, really nice hotels. Actually, at the Venetian, every single room is a suite, which is kind of cool. We're going to have a very extremely discounted rate for you. So we were just getting that from the hotel. You'll get that as soon as you register. It'll be on the thank you page. So you'll get a rock bottom price on your room so that everyone, as much as possible, will be staying in the same hotel. So everyone's going to be right there where the event is. It's going to be an amazing thing. So that's another big reason to register early, is because when we've had this event before, we've ended up having to put people at 4 different hotels, all for one event. Because the first hotel, all the rooms will fill up. This hotel, Las Vegas hotels are big, but this event is also going to be bigger. But make sure you register early, because no matter what, we'll be able to get you in at some hotel at a good price and all that sort of good stuff. But it's obviously really cool if you can make it there at the Venetian. So register early to secure your spot at that hotel and at the event. So once again, watch your email, log into your Amazing Academy or Amazing Selling Machine membership, and that message will be there right at the top. So that is the first update. The other update is the upgraded Profit Spotlight. Remember the Profit Spotlight tool from before we closed doors to Amazing Selling Machine? So that tool, we've upgraded it. We've added price filters, we've added review filters, and a few other things. That will be live inside your membership probably tomorrow as well. So that'll be live within your membership. I think we'll send out an update about that on Friday, definitely, but it should be live in your membership tomorrow. But remember, to get access to the upgraded Profit Spotlight inside of the class portal, you will need to have earned the Profile Setup Badge and the Seller Central Setup Badge. You're getting set up to sell on Amazon badge. So remember, those are, we've sent out emails, multiple emails about those, but the Profile Setup Badge, if you just go into the Welcome module and click on the First Steps video, you can find that there. Your Seller Central Setup Badge, if you just go into Module 1, you'll find instructions on how to set that one up. You need to earn both of those, because then if you haven't, you'll go and try to access the upgraded Profit Spotlight, and it'll have a message there saying to unlock it, you need to earn those first 2 badges. But if you've already earned those first 2 badges, you'll automatically be able to access the upgraded Profit Spotlight tool. So make sure you go do those right after this call if you haven't done them already. And since we've been through Module 2, if you've been through all that already, make sure you earn your Opportunity Finder badge. That's the big one from Module 2. So those are the major updates I had. So I think next off, Rich has something he wants to cover.
Yep, it's just a quick thing. Basically, when you're asking questions underneath the training, excuse me, underneath the training videos, if it's a complex question, if it's at all difficult and you think that you might have to have an answer and then ask another question, another answer, then please go into the forum and ask it. The system works quite well underneath the videos, but when we get into multiple back and forths, it makes it very difficult for us to track the questions. It also makes it very difficult for you to track the questions. Also, if you go and ask your question in the forum itself, there's going to be 15 or 16 mentors in there looking for them and waiting for your questions. So by all means, post comments or simple questions that you know pretty sure are going to be just a one answer that's not going to be in depth. But if you think it's something more complex and something you want a bigger answer about or a longer answer, then please go into the forum. It's really important you get used to using the forum. It's an absolutely fantastic tool for you to get answers. And all these mentors, we've actually got 5 mentors in there full time now. So any kind of questions at all regarding anything up until now, and also obviously when Module 3 opens and so on, then do go into the forum and ask them in the specific module forums. You'll get your answers quicker, you'll also get more answers. And that's pretty much it. So by all means, carry on making comments underneath the videos and asking simple, straightforward questions. But anything that's more complicated, then please do go ask it in the forum. You'll get a quicker answer, and you'll probably get a better answer too. But that's all I wanted to say, Matt.
Cool, perfect. Thanks, Rich. So next up, we've got Mr. Mike McClary, who's got a topic he wants to cover that he's seen come up quite a bit in the first couple modules here.
Hi, yeah. What I want to talk about is we've been monitoring the questions under the videos, like Rich said, and also all of the forum comments and questions. And one that keeps coming up is how you decide which product to go for when you're looking at the bestseller rank and the reviews. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of different combinations out there of a BSR of 5, 10, 300, 50. Then you need to look at the bestseller rank of the second product you're comparing against and the third product, and then the reviews for the second and the third product. And what we're seeing, there's 2 things we're seeing. One, we're seeing a lot of people ask questions for, hey, here's my 5 products, here's all the BSRs and number of reviews. Which one would you pick? Which one is the best? And the answer is there is no one best. There's no magical formula that if you look at the bestseller rank and the number of reviews for all those product combinations, that something's going to tell you that this is absolutely the best product to go for. And that's a good thing, because if there was one magical formula that always told you the absolute best product, we'd all be picking the exact same product. So don't stress out about it so much, because if you're finding products that are selling really well, which is indicative by that bestseller rank, you're already on your way. That's the #1 indicator. As Matt has said time and time again, find a product that's already selling well. You're taking away a big hurdle that other people who don't know this secret have a hard time getting past. You already know there's a demand for that product. So that's the #1 thing to look for. The reviews part of it, that it does play a role, and you want to take those into account, but it's not nearly as important as making sure that your bestseller rank is between 1 and 500, like we've been advising you to. The second question regarding reviews then is a lot of people have been wondering how many reviews are too many reviews, and does that mean that a product or maybe even an entire niche is too competitive? And there's not one simple answer here. I'll just come back first to, again, if the product has a really good BSR and selling a lot, then the number of reviews doesn't matter nearly as much. And maybe you need to weigh those two a little bit. So if you have something that has a real high BSR, then it's okay to have a high number of reviews. And that BSR is getting down more towards 300, 400, 500, then maybe you do want to look for a little less reviews. There's no magic number, but they are kind of correlated there. However, with that said, I'll tell you a couple times when I personally look at the reviews when making a decision on which product I want to go for. And there's two typical situations. Number one, if I've narrowed my products down between, let's say, down to 3, like many of you are doing right now, and I feel pretty good about all 3 of those products, and they all have good ranks, they're all selling well, they have good BSRs, that's when I might look at the number of reviews for that product and figure out, well, which one do I really want to go for? So if we have a great selling product that has 500 or maybe let's say 300 reviews, and then another great selling product that has 2,000 or 3,000, well, I'll tell you what, in that situation, I might go for the one that has some less reviews. It's still competitive. There's still enough reviews out there. You know it's selling a lot. You know that the competitors are doing pretty well. But I also know that going for the one with slightly less reviews is going to be something that I'll have an easier time getting into. So that's one of the situations where I look at the reviews, is when trying to figure out which product I'm going for. Secondly, it's when I'm looking at those second and third products. So when you found your one product, or you're analyzing one product, and you're following the training, and you're looking at the next 2 products that show up in the search, that's really when I look at those number of views on the second and third products. So let's imagine that we have a very well, a product selling a lot and doing very well, has a high BSR. This is the primary one you're looking at. Let's say it does have a lot of reviews. Let's say it's over 1,000 reviews. Does that necessarily mean that you don't want to go for that product? Not necessarily, because what I would do then is look at the second and third products, because if I see that those second and third products are still selling pretty well, they have a BSR of, I don't know, anything, under 5,000, maybe it's 1,000 or 2,000, it still does some decent sales given Amazon's volume. If I notice those 2 products don't have anywhere near that number of views that first product has, like over 1,000, let's say that they only have maybe 50 or 100, that's another time that I think that'd be a perfect opportunity, because you don't have to beat out that number 1 product to do incredibly well on Amazon. If I can get into that number 2 or number 3 spot, I'm happy as can be. And I'll tell them right now, for the 2 products that I haven't beaten out the top selling product in either of those products yet, but I still have, has to have my 50K badge. Just with 2 products, you don't have to beat out the first one to do really, really well on Amazon. So don't stress out thinking you have to be able to beat out a product that has 1,000 reviews, otherwise you're going to be a failure. That is absolutely not the case. You just need to make sure that there's opportunity in that market, that that product is selling, there's a demand for that product, and that you can find a way to get into that niche. Again, you don't have to be the top selling one to do really well. So keep that in mind. Don't stress out so much about the reviews. Make sure you really want to pay attention to a product that's selling really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is like Mike said, is that that there's volume in the category, meaning it has a good bestseller rank. Like we told you, less than 500, but the lower the better. We just had a question here from Wendy, related. Wendy said, what happens? I see the product being sold in Walmart. That may happen. I mean, there's lots of products sold all over the place, but don't let any of that deter you. The most important thing is that there's volume in the category, because especially once we get to Module 5 and beyond, we're going to start talking about all different sources of traffic within Amazon, outside of Amazon. At that point, it almost won't matter as much what exactly is happening inside of Amazon, because that's not your only traffic source. Amazon is really just a place to launch your product and to get sales. It's not your entire business. Your entire business is the product brand you build. And you're much better off building a great product that a lot of people want, because there's a lot of places you can get sales from still leveraging Amazon. All that's coming in Module 5 and beyond. But really, like Mike said, the most important thing is that there's a lot of volume in the category. So I don't know, guys, Mike or Rich, if you have any questions, we want to take a few of them before we bring Mattson on. I did have another question here, actually, real quick. Rebecca had a question about the live event. She says, what happens about bringing guests? We will open up that if we have spots available, probably in a week or so. We want to make sure we get all of the full, active, amazing selling machine students that just joined. They're the priority #1 for us. So we have to make sure all of them can get in. Then we may have a few spots for guests, but they will need to be legitimate business partners, because we really want to protect the quality of the event, meaning it's all people that are equally invested in this program, equally invested in this business, because it creates a much better environment. But we'll have all the guest registration information available in a week or so. So thanks for that question, Rebecca. Then one more question I didn't write down. Who was it that wrote it? Let's see here if I can pull it real quick. Yeah, I don't know where it is. So either way, this person was saying that like they're a little concerned because they feel like they may be falling behind a bit. Do not worry about that. We've had people that had emergencies or other life issues, or they just got distracted and didn't actually come back to the training until a couple months later. And now they're some of our best success stories. So it's okay. The training will be updated. You essentially get training updates for life. a lot of the stuff that you're getting access to that we're updating, especially with modules 5, 6, 7, and 8. People that joined last year are getting access to that too, because we like to take care of you all. We want this information to be relevant, to be valid forever. We want to have the best, most cutting edge information about doing this business. So if you're falling behind, do not worry about it. Go at whatever pace is comfortable for you. Try to keep up, but if you don't, then don't worry. The training is going to be here. These call recordings are going to be here. We're going to be here. The support team is going to be here. The forum's going to be here. And when Module 5 opens, you're going to get access to the Facebook group and all that sort of good stuff. So do not worry. Do not get stressed out if you feel you're falling behind, because everything is still going to be here. Just go at the pace that you're able to go at, because some people are able to devote 8 hours a day to this thing, 10 hours a day to this thing. Some people can only devote a couple hours a week. Either one is perfectly fine. We have people that have been extremely successful with either time commitments. Sometimes spending a lot more time on this thing doesn't necessarily mean you're getting any better results. So just make sure you just don't get stressed out about falling behind, because everything will be here, and just go at whatever pace you're able to go at. So I don't know, guys, do you have any questions ready? Because probably want to take a few before we bring Mattson on, because probably want to bring him on in like 12 minutes or so.
Okay, I've got one that was posted in the forum earlier.
Sure.
Are we better off looking for products in the 100 to 500 or best top sellers, or versus the top 100 best sellers? So basically they're asking whether they're better off looking lower down because there's less competition. Because they're assuming all the ASM guys are going to be looking like for the top 100.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't want to say either one is necessarily better, because there's obviously benefits and drawbacks to each. Benefit of being in the top 100 is the product is selling like crazy. Product is still selling well between 101 and 500. It's just not in top 100. It's just basic math. So there's possibly more volume, possibly less competition if the product is not selling in that top 100. So I don't want to say either one is necessarily better. I would just let you just know that if, for example, like you found two products, both look like they have similar levels of competition, both are great products, everything else is exactly perfect, but one product is 50 in the top level category and the other product is 450, go with the one that's selling better. Just use that as a criteria in your head, but don't necessarily think that you have to pigeonhole yourself into one or the other. It's just telling you, it's just giving you data. It just depends where you want to be at. Anywhere really in that top 500 is going to be a great first product for you. And you guys feel free, Rich and Mike, if you have any different opinions, or if you want to add any of this sort of stuff.
No, I mean, I completely agree. Basically, you're going to get pluses and minuses to both, and you've covered them. Anything inside the top 500 is going to be fine. I wouldn't personally look lower down just because I think it's going to be easier, because it's not always the best thing to go for easier. But basically anything inside the top 500 you're going to sell well. So just find the product you want to sell.
Yep. So did you have another question, Rich?
Yep. This Yeah, I came up with 6 choices of opportunities and just can't seem to narrow it down to 3. Are there other criteria that we can look at to make 3 really good choices?
So they've narrowed their product selection and they have 3 really good products. Is that what you said?
No, no, they can only narrow it down to 6. They want to narrow it down to 3, but they can't decide between those 6 to get down to 3.
Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion is that look at the product that you want to be with long term, not just one that is a good sort of easy one right now. Like, which product could you see yourself selling years from now, loving telling people about, and all that sort of stuff. It's not when I first started selling products, especially on Amazon, it wasn't a criteria I used. I was just looking for products that would sell well. But then after having sold some products that, when all was said and done, and just wasn't that happy selling, just wasn't markets I wanted to be in or believed in, then it just becomes kind of draining at some point. So it's much better off. You'll get more excited about the business when it's a market you actually want to be in, a market you like. So if out of those 6 products, if they're all in different markets, or some of them are in different markets, pick ones that are in markets that you like, markets that maybe you're in yourself. For example, like if you're into cooking and one of the products is a home and kitchen product that you would actually use yourself, go with that one. If you're into working out, one product is a little fitness something or other, go with that one. It may not be a fit for every product, but if you're left, and that's a good way to make a decision, in my opinion.
Okay, I've got another one. We actually talked about this earlier. How can we consider products that other ASM members are successful with? Or is it best to explore products that non-ASM members are only making a killing with? I mean, what they're basically saying, we've seen this quite a lot actually, is if I find a product in the top 4 or 5 or whatever are all ASM members from what I can see, is it still worth going after?
In my opinion, that should not really be a criteria. It doesn't really matter. I mean, there's reasons why that would be a good idea. There are reasons why it could possibly be a bad idea. But either way, I think they kind of balance each other out. I think ultimately just measure the opportunities based off of everything else. Don't try. Well, this is one of the ways that I think people get caught up and they fail to take action. Is they try to add criteria that we don't actually talk about or recommend at all. They start making up different things that, like, different ways to evaluate products. Trust us, we don't have any sort of hidden agenda, anything like that. Our only motive with this training is to get you results. Everything, if we thought there was something else in the training, like, oh crap, there's a lot of people selling these products, then we don't want you to sell those products, even if they're our own people, we would tell you that. But if that stuff's not in there, don't invent other criteria. Just use what's in the training to evaluate different products to sell. And don't really try to think too much beyond that. Sure, maybe 2-3 months from now, when you've launched your first product, it's selling well, you've gotten some good hard experience under your belt, then you can start getting more creative based off of things you find. But right now, just use what's in the training. So if the product criteria, if there's a few different product criteria in the training, use only those and don't really try to take anything else into consideration.
Sure. I got one for you too, Matt, here.
Sure.
A couple different people have asked, do we need to take into account the product size and weight so that we can account for shipping costs?
Yeah, so typically we want you selling products that are light and small, which is all kind of relative. But as far as weight, in an ideal world, it's less than a pound. Not too bad if it's less than 2 pounds. The problem is if you start getting too much over that, then yeah, shipping costs can be an issue and whatnot. So light and small, that's ideal. As far as small, I don't think we've ever recommended any sort of like actual measurement. But in an ideal world, it could probably fit in 2 of your hands or something like that. But that's it's just a general rule, especially if you're getting a product that's coming from overseas. Because we've had people, once again, that didn't take that recommendation, which is in the training, and they ordered a product that fit all the other criteria, but it was heavy. It was like a dense wood product. I don't want to give a product away, but it was a dense wood product. And then it got sent over, and it was just a pain in the butt. It had to be shipped by sea, and there was a big time delay and all this sort of stuff. So think light and small is ideal, especially when picking your first product.
Oh, let's see. Okay, here's another one also. I've seen this a couple times. So some folks are having problems determining exactly what is considered a top-level category. And I know why this is. So on the training video, Matt, that you did, you show Amazon's entire directory, and it says to stay on the right-hand side because those are physical products. And I noticed that the headings in orange, you can't click on them, and those aren't really top-level categories, but everything underneath are. I think that's confusing. Can you explain what's a top-level category, maybe an easier way to find those?
Yeah, sure. So the easiest way, it's in one of the videos, but the easiest way is, which I think I can show my screen, which is kind of dicey because we normally don't do Hangouts. But let me pull this up here real quick and give me a couple seconds here. So maybe if you all want to take a question real quick while I pull a couple products up, and I'll get back to the top-level category thing.
Sure, I've got a question, and actually Mike can answer this one because we actually talked about it earlier today, and it's something I didn't know that he's kind of figured out. It's about missing BSR with some products when you're searching for products and there's no BSR. Can you explain what that is, Mike?
Sure. So this doesn't happen all the time, but we've seen it enough where when doing your research, you will see a product that absolutely has no bestseller rank in its top-level category. You can only sometimes see that subcategory that it's way, way down in, but since we've always been told only look at the BSR for its top-level category, it's hard to do that if Amazon's not showing that. And of course, they sometimes don't show that. So on the screen right now, as you see that Matt has, that right there, the Amazon bestsellers rank above, that product is number 5 in kitchen. That's what you want. Sometimes that line is missing completely, and you'll only see the one below it where it tells you where it's at in the sub-level category. An easy way to do this to get an idea of how it's doing in its top-level category is if you actually drill into that sub-level category, let's say spatulas, you would see then just the top 100 for that very small category. And if you find the product that you're evaluating, what you will see there is you'll see a product that's ranked higher than it in the subcategory and a product that's ranked lower than it in its subcategory. You can then click on either one of those, and chances are those will have a ranking in that top level category, and you can just extrapolate what the product you're looking at, what its top level will be. So let's say, for example, you found a spatula that didn't have a ranking at all. Drill all the way down till you see the top 100 for that very small category by clicking where Matt's showing there under the highlighted word spatulas, and then look at the product that's ranked above it, click on it, and that'll have a BSR in the top level category. And you can also do the same for the product that was ranked below it and look at that BSR, and you'll know that yours is somewhere in between there. So that's kind of a little tricky way to find out what that BSR is in the top level category when it isn't showing. Thanks.
Yeah, so if you look at my screen right now, like this is a product I pulled up that's in this kitchen and dining category. You can see in the top level category, which means the one that shows up says Amazon bestseller rank. This one that shows up right next to it is the top level category, so it's kitchen and dining. So this is the one that when we want to compare like less than 500 or compare two products that are in different categories, this is what we use to compare. Because the problem is this subcategory ranking, kitchen and dining, kitchen utensils and gadgets, cooking utensils, spatula, it's number 1 in that category. You'll find some products that may be number 1 in this subcategory that nobody cares about, but they'll be number 6,000 in this one. So it may look great by this subcategory, but it's not actually selling that well. It just happens to be in such a niche down subcategory that there's just nobody else in there, and the products just don't sell well there. So you always want to compare things by this top level category. Otherwise, you're not really comparing apples to apples. You could be looking at a subcategory that has no volume at all, and the actual top level category is not doing well at all. So always look at the top level categories to compare the bestseller rank. Shut that screen share off. There we go. So yeah, getting lots of questions here. What time is? Oh, right at 3:30 my time central. So let's go ahead and bring on Matson. So Matson actually joined Amazing Selling Machine about a year ago. He joined in March of last year, and he'll tell you about his story. But he's wasn't some like he picked some random product and all of a sudden his business exploded, and that's how he became successful. It was a process of following the training and using it and going back to the drawing board and slowly building up sales. From what I've gathered, he'll tell you his whole story. I just got a little email blurb. But right now he's doing $130,000 a month with this business, so he's doing extremely well. and he's got the access to the same exact training as you do. So, Matson, welcome to the call, and maybe tell just a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and your experience with doing this business.
Okay, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So like you said, I joined a year ago. I'm doing a business with my brother, my brother-in-law, and my father, so it's a family affair. And it's nice to have partners to work with. I know a lot of people that are successful in this have been working with partners. Different one of us are good at different things, and so we divide and conquer, and it's a lot easier than trying to do everything yourself. But our business started out slowly. We picked a product that we thought would work well, and we just followed the system, and we did some press releases, used the Alliance tools, and then we turned on Amazon sponsored ads, and it just started to grow every week. And when we started out, our goal was to do 10 sales a day. Our product is about $20 with about a 50% profit margin, so we thought $10 profit, 10 sales a day, that's $100 a day. And then if we could get 9 more products like doing the same thing, then we'd have $1,000 a day profit, and that was our goal. Well, so that's how we approached it. We weren't looking for a home run out of the park on the first product, but we picked our product, followed the system, worked it, and the product quickly got to the 10 sales a day, and then it just continued to grow to 20 sales a day, 30 sales a day, and it just has kept growing. And we recently looked at the numbers from the past year, and our sales have grown every week more than the previous week, every week for the past year except for 1 week where there's a slight dip. So it's been slow and steady growth the whole way. I mean, I can't really say it's slow. It's pretty quick growth to get to 130,000 a month in 1 year. So much exceeded our expectations. We're very happy with the success we've had with this system. Very grateful that we heard about when we did.
Cool. So right now, this is primarily, or really only, new Amazing Selling Machine students on this call right now. So they just joined last month. They've been through Module 1, which is all about getting set up to sell. And this call we're on right now is the Module 2 coaching call. So they just finished Module 2, which as you remember is all about picking the product you want to sell. And they create the spreadsheet with 20 different opportunities. They boil that down into a handful of opportunities to move forward with to the next stage, which starts tomorrow, Module 3, all about finding a supplier. So what advice do you have for people when it comes to choosing a product to sell on Amazon?
Well, I work with a lot of people at this stage right now looking for their products, and my advice is the same as what I had, that mindset. I wasn't looking for a home run, 100,000 a month product for my first product. I was looking for a base hit that would get me on base and get me that 10 sales a day. And so that takes the pressure off and helps me, broadens the opportunity to a lot more opportunities. And so just find a product that has good solid sales and not a lot of competition, and go with it, and you don't know how big it can grow.
Cool. So when you were looking for a base hit product, as you call it, like knowing what you know now, you know a lot about selling on Amazon. Like if you were telling somebody else to look for one of those products, what kind of range of bestseller rank would you be looking for?
I do recommend people look up from the 101 to 500 range, because there's just that many more opportunities. There's only so many that can fit in the top 100, and so you're limiting yourself, plus that's where everybody's looking. So I do suggest don't limit yourself to the top 100, because there's lots of great products in the next 400 products.
Cool. So when you first started this business, had you sold and sourced physical products before?
I had never sold physical product. I never sold anything on Amazon or anything. I'd sold information. I've done some website and affiliate marketing type stuff, but nothing like this.
Cool, perfect. So when it came to, because I remember when Jason, Jason Katzenbach was going through this process of finding and working with suppliers, like I was just blown away because he knew everything on the planet about online marketing, but he had never done this business before. So when it comes to finding a supplier, because I'm sure the first time you went through, it sounds like you have multiple products now, so you've been through it multiple times. What advice do you have for people going through the process of finding a supplier for a product, having not done that before, knowing it can be kind of a scary process and whatnot?
Yeah, it's not intimidating. It's not scary. Just after you've made a few calls, you'll find out it's not scary. That these people, it's their business to supply products for you, and they're anxious for your business. They want to please you. So the cards, you hold the cards. So just call them and order samples, because with this ASM model where good reviews is everything, so you want to make sure that you get a quality product. So get a sample from all the potential suppliers and decide which one you think is the best quality that will fit your needs. And it's not scary. Just take action, and you'll realize that.
Cool, perfect. So yeah, so everyone listening, just so you know, we've still got a little while on this call. So if you've got a question directly for Mattson, I've got a couple more for him myself. But if you've got a question directly for him, he'll be here for the rest of this call. So you can start pumping those into the box now, and maybe Rich and Mike, you can watch out for those. If you see any of those come through, we can definitely ask him that. So just going through this business, you've given some great advice on choosing a product opportunity, finding a supplier. Then, when it came to ramping up sales, what do you think? I know you said you did some press releases and whatnot, but what do you think was most effective for you, or is most effective for you now?
Everybody asks me, well, what's the trick? What'd you do to boost your sales so big? And we didn't do anything secret or ninja. We didn't do any paid traffic off of Amazon or anything like that. I think I'm pretty good at keyword optimizing my listing, and then we turned on Amazon ads, and we were able, from those two things, to quickly rank for a lot of keywords. And so our organic search sales just continue to grow every week.
Cool. So I assume did you make it to either of the live events?
Yes, I've been to both of them. Planning to come this time. Yeah.
Cool. So you said you're gonna be there in Las Vegas too?
That's right.
Awesome. So for people, because that's just another thing, we should be opening up registration tomorrow for the people on this call. So I mean, what advice do you have for them about obviously showing up to the live event is a big thing, but then as far as getting value out of that?
Yeah, definitely do whatever you can to make it. I mean, the content was great. It's a fun time. You guys put on a better event than, I've been to hundreds of events in my career, and you guys definitely put on the best event I've ever been to. But beyond the event itself, it's the networking with the people that you meet there that is the real value. And these are all people that are working on the same niche business that you're in, and so the friendships and the alliances you build there are invaluable to your success. So I made great connections at both events.
Perfect. So yeah, I appreciate you joining us. We're definitely going to keep you on here. But Rich and Mike, if you have any questions for Mattson, feel free to jump in now. Otherwise, I'm trying to see what else we have on our agenda for today. Yeah, main thing now is just we got some more questions that we'll be pulling from here live. So were you about to jump in there, Rich?
Yeah, I got some 3 specific questions for Mattson.
Sure, go for it.
So the first one is, Mattson, how many products do you have to get to the 130K a month?
I have 4 now, but my 3 are fairly new. I got to nearly 100,000 with 1 product, and then I've just added 3 in the last 4 months probably.
Cool. The second one is, did you have a big inventory with your first order? So basically, when you first started, did you place a big order for your inventory or just like a small amount?
Depends on what you think big. My first order was just over 500, and to, that might sound big to some people, but to me, I don't think that's very big because you want to get your business a good kickstart in the rankings by doing some promotions with some product up front. So, I think you want to, depending on how competitive your category is, it would be nice to have 50 or 100 product that you could give away at a steep discount in order to boost your initial sales.
Cool. Totally agree, by the way. And the last one, are you sourcing your products from the US or from overseas?
All four of my products are sourced in the U.S. right now, but I just got back from a 3-week trip to China to the Canton Fair to look at what products I could source there to add to my product line. And right now, all of my products that I'm working on are under the same brand. So I'm adding. I've got 2 more that are coming online that are U.S. based. They'll come online in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then I've got about 5 that I found on the China trip, but they will all be under the same brand.
Cool. That's the ones I've got right now, Matt.
Okay, cool, perfect. Actually, got a good question here that don't ask enough of people like you, Matson. Joe Lau says, what do you know now that you wish you would have known sooner or when you started this business?
That's a good question.
Everything.
Yeah. I've learned a lot. It's and you never know everything. That's one of the huge advantages to this program is the Facebook community, because I'm constantly learning every day from people sharing their experiences. I'm doing a lot of volume right now, but I haven't imported anything from China yet, so there's a lot of people that know more than I do about that. So I'm constantly learning and growing, and that's the fun part. This business is fun because you're constantly growing.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So like for example, just to maybe, because I know it's sometimes tough to answer these questions like on the spot when you haven't had time to think about them. So like when you launch a new product now, what do you do now that you didn't do when you first started? Because now you know it works, you know you should do it. Like I know for me, when I very first started this business, I didn't focus as much on having like a super high quality label and pictures and all that. But now, like, I am absolutely adamant about that. I will not sell a product if it doesn't have like the best label and pictures on the planet. So that's my deal. It's not necessarily yours. But give you an example of something that I know now that didn't know before. Is there anything like that for you?
I'll tell you one thing that I didn't realize at first, that I like consumable products, because the idea is to get a happy customer, and if your product's not consumable, no matter how much they love it, they don't need to buy it again. But if you have a consumable product and you make them happy, then they're just going to keep reordering it. So that's one reason I like consumable products. Also, like you said, I didn't realize how important the quality is, but as I've been working this business and see how you live and die by the positive reviews and the negative reviews, it's super critical that you don't cut any corners on your product, because you need to have positive reviews.
Cool. Perfect. Going back over here. Let's see. I can take this one. It's directed at you, Matson, but I'll just go ahead and take it. This Jones says, I've heard that some suppliers aren't willing to give samples, or they ask for initial order, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know who you've heard that from, but in most cases it's not true if it's a legitimate supplier. That's a way to tell if it's a legitimate supplier, is if they're willing to actually give you a sample. If not, it's kind of funny. Now granted, there are some suppliers who may make you pay for a sample, which is perfectly fine. I would almost expect that to be the case. And if one unit ultimately costs you $5 and they want you to pay $20 for a sample, no problem. I'll offer them to pay them $20. because you don't want to be selling a product and buy $500 worth of inventory later, and it not be a good product. So that's typically never a problem, Joan. If it is, then I would look for a different supplier. If they want you to pay for the sample, that's perfectly expected. Let's see. Raymond asked, did you start off with a product that you already were really into, passionate about, a market you were interested in, or did you just sort of pick something based off that you found that was selling well?
It was related to something I was already doing in business with my Kindle business, so it was a natural offshoot of that.
Okay, cool, perfect.
I've got one for him, Matt, if you want.
Sure, yep.
Matson, how did the alliances and friendships you made at the live event help you build your business?
I met other successful people that I've become a mastermind group, so we push each other to be more successful and share what works for them and what works for me. And so I think working with those guys, like I met Brian Lade, and I didn't meet Adam because he wasn't there last time, but I became friends with them, and we talked about what our goals were for the next quarter, and his goals are so big that it really pushed me to push myself a lot harder than I would have if I hadn't met him there.
Cool.
I got one for you, Matson, too, also. Sadie Hancock is asking, oh dear, I don't have a partner to work with. Does this mean that the business will be too hard to keep up if I'm doing it on my own? Do you think that, what would it be like if it was just you doing it, Matson? Would it be possible still?
I think it's definitely possible, and you guys have shown lots of examples of people that have done it on their own. I just think that it's a benefit if you can have someone to work with. And I mean, that's just about everything in life. So, but it's definitely not necessary, but it's nice to have.
Cool. So we're getting a lot of questions. A lot of people asking about how do you find suppliers, what do you do with suppliers, et cetera, et cetera. How do you do samples? We're not going to really cover those because they're all covered in module 3. I'm going to start losing track of which module 1. Module 3, which goes live tomorrow. Those kind of questions are all covered there, so we're not ignoring you. You see these things. So got questions from Karen, Beverly, Madeline.
I got one here, Matt.
Yeah. So just let them. Just want to let you all know that all these supplier-related questions, unless there's some specifically for Matson, because we're not going to have them live on every call. Then we're going to cover all those product samples, product supplier questions in module 3. Yeah, what's up, Mike?
Yeah, I do have another question. It's probably not, doesn't have to be just for you, Matson, but whoever wants to take this one. Sure. I'm noticing a lot of products have their price scratched out at the top and then a lower price at the bottom. So one, what does this mean, and which price do we use when doing our analysis?
I'll give you my input on that. There was a recent article I saw about the psychology of pricing that talked about where JCPenney for a while tried to go to the no sale price model, and their sales tanked. So there's a proven psychology that people like to see that they're getting it for cheaper than the list price. And so that's all that is you're setting what the suggested list price is and then what the sale price is, which is what you want to sell it for, basically so that there's a psychological discount.
Cool. There you go. Perfect answer. So yeah, the other price is you'll learn more about that when we get to module 4 about setting up your listing and whatnot. But yeah, it's whenever you're evaluating opportunities, look at the price it's actually selling at. If you're confused about that, if it's like it's the price that's not crossed out, but if you're confused about that, add it to your cart and see what they're going to charge you. That's the price that you want to evaluate opportunities on. Because the other one, I can put $18,000 for one of my products, and that sort of fake price or manufacturer's price is what they tend to call it, or suggested retail, but it doesn't matter. It's nothing anybody will ever get charged.
I have another one here too.
The only thing about that retail price is that the Amazon fee calculator goes based on the full price, not the sale price. So that scares people when they think their fees are going to be higher than they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that that's an error.
Yeah, absolutely. You had another question, Mike?
Yeah, from Kip Carlson. It says in the module that you can go with products that cost anywhere from $7 to $40. However, I've seen other people say that you really want something that's at least $20 to be able to make a decent profit. Any comments from anyone? Madsen, you want to take that one?
I will. I always say, I don't know why Matt Clark keeps saying that, because it's really tough to make a profit on a $7 product price point. But yeah, I always like to shoot for the $20 to $40 price range. I think that's the sweet spot. That, you know, if your goal is a 50% profit margin and make a decent amount of profit per sale, then that's the sweet spot I shoot for.
Yeah, so just to give a little insight on that, like the lower end of that price range is not something that that I have ever sold at, that you want to sell at. The reason you use that $7 price range is because there are some products right now that are selling at $7, but you can come in and sell it at 12 bucks, 14 bucks, 15 bucks. But you would miss those opportunities if you cut it off at 12 bucks, 14 bucks, 15 bucks. You would never pick those products up. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, Matt. And like selling products, the lower you go, the more difficult it gets. But you can still find opportunities there that, like, you know, had products before where the products sold around 12 bucks, 13 bucks, 14 bucks, and we're making, you know, $500, $600, $700 a day in profit because the product is being sourced from China for about $1 each. That's how it typically works out, anyways.
I've got another question from Madsen. This one's from Erez Shibi. Hey Erez, how you going? Madsen, did you apply any of your skills from your prior knowledge in online marketing?
Not really, because physical selling products on Amazon is so different that I don't have to do any SEO or backlinking or anything that I had to do to try and get sales in the past. I don't have to do paid traffic. So this business is completely different than anything I've done in the past. It's much easier. It's much more successful than any other online venture I've done. And it's been a great lifestyle business because I'm a single dad, and this gives me the time freedom to spend time with my kids when they're home, and then I can work in the mornings or the evenings when they're at school or asleep. So this is just the perfect business for my lifestyle.
All right, so looking, not getting a whole lot of other questions here related to product. We're still getting a ton of questions. But just so you all know, a lot of these things about doing keyword research and all this sort of stuff is covered more in Module 4 when it comes to setting up your product listing and picking the keywords you want to rank for and all that good stuff. So a lot of that is covered. Wendy, we already answered that. He sources his products right now from the U.S., but just got back from a China trip, so will likely be selling products from there. So yeah, I think that's the majority of the questions here. We've got a few things before we wrap this up, because we've just got a couple minutes left. But yeah, so I want to thank you very much, Madsen, for joining us on this call. We look forward to seeing you at the live event in Las Vegas. I'm sure everyone else does too. We may drag you up on stage at some point too. So appreciate you coming on here, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks. So yeah, so just to wrap things up here, Rich, you said cover a little bit, just mention what you wanted to tell them about the Community Helper of the Week, rather than me sort of botching that and giving them bad information.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, by the way, before you jump on that, the reason this comes up is because Jason is normally the person who handles that, but we never mentioned it. Jason has just magically been not on here for the entire past 55 minutes. Jason is actually on a trip in Haiti. I believe they're going to visit some orphanages, and it's a really great thing. So let's all wish Jason good luck, safe travels, all that sort of thing, so he can be back here with us next week. But that's where he's at. So he's he's got a good excuse this week, so let's not give him a hard time about that. So Rich is going to cover the part that he normally covers about the community helper.
Right, what I'm actually going to do is we're actually going to post the results in the forum either late this evening or first thing tomorrow morning. We've got 5 people, 5 nominees. I need to chat with the other mentors and to establish who we think is the winner, because that's normally how it works. Obviously, Jason normally announces this, but because he's not here, I forgot. So, but yeah, he's away building houses in Haiti. So, like Matt says, he's got a good excuse. So, stay tuned. You'll see it in the forum. We'll make the announcement, and the winner will get. Is it a half-hour call with Jason?
Yeah, with Jason. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And where will that be in the forum?
I'll put it in the emails and announcements section.
So the emails and announcements section. Yeah. So I was just pulling that up. So yeah, if you log in, click community, you'll see the news and updates section, and there's a section that the first one there says latest emails and announcements. So it'll be right there.
It'll be right in there, yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Rich. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We know there were some other questions asked in the forum that I believe are going to be answered in there. Correct, Rich? Before this call?
Yep. Hang tight. We're going to have now that the call's finished, anything that wasn't asked on the call, the mentors are going to be going in and answering them.
And that's where at in the forum?
It's the top of Module 2.
So top of Module 2, general discussion?
Yeah, it should be. It's actually... Welcome.
Yeah, so Module 2 live call questions.
You found it?
Yeah. So yeah, if you go into the community, then click Module 2 General Discussion, and then the first topic there, Module 2 Live Call Questions. If you asked a question there, it didn't get answered here live, it will get answered there. We really want to make sure you're getting all your questions answered, and we only have so much time on this call. So we see your questions coming in. We try to answer as many as we can. And remember, we're also always staying focused on these calls. Only on the module at hand. So if we don't mention your question or something like that, it's probably related to another module, or we may just run out of time. So the questions will be answered there. So yeah, we do appreciate you asking your questions, and we want to make sure you are taken care of. So they will be there. So that's really it. Just remember, watch your email and watch that top of the calendar when you log in on the dashboard screen in the Amazing Academy membership, because the live event registration is going to be going live, it looks like tomorrow. We'll send out an email as soon as it goes live. It'll be posted up there as soon as it goes live. So make sure you secure your spot. Also secure your hotel booking at the Venetian Hotel where the live event is going to be. And it's a great price. Don't worry about that. It's about as cheap as it could possibly get. Even though I said all rooms are suite, some people are like, wait a minute, does that mean I'm going to be paying suite price? No, not at all. They're regular hotel room prices. It's just what they say. So don't worry about that. So we definitely want to see every single one of you at the live event. All that information is going to be coming tomorrow. And remember, equally as important, Module 3 goes live tomorrow about finding a supplier. So make sure, I'm going to start sounding like a broken record here, but earn your profile setup badge, earn your Seller Central setup badge, and then Module 2, earn your Opportunity Finder badge, which is really easy. Once again, you don't have to have forked over any money, done any of that kind of stuff. And then your Supplier badge will come in Module 3. So make sure you're keeping up with those, because we are going to be giving some special recognition and all that sort of thing whenever we get to the live event, and also different things you will be able to unlock inside of the membership because you're earning those badges. And it gives you the recognition whenever you're commenting in the forum that people know you are serious about this business. So thank you very much for joining us. I'll let these two guys say bye too, but thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care. We'll see you in the forums tomorrow.
Yep, see you later.